Ow! If I had to sum up a recommendation for Isle of Dogs in a quick TLDR, it would be this. If you enjoy Wes Anderson's previous films, you'll probably like this one as well, but on the flip side, if you aren't a fan of his work, for some reason, this likely won't change your mind unless you're a die-hard animation enthusiast and also skipped out on his 2009 film, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Anderson is one of those filmmakers with a style so unique and distinct that you can always tell when you're watching one of his movies. Isle of Dogs is the first that he's served as writer and director on since the Grand Budapest Hotel in 2014, and you can rest assured that it contains all of the hallmarks that distinguish him as a filmmaker. It's got a terrifically smart script with a lot of dry humor that makes each beat throughout teeter on the border between sincerity and sarcasm.
A long rickety causeway over a noxious sludge marsh leading to a radioactive landfill polluted by toxic chemical garbage. That's our destination.
Great.
Got it. Get ready to jump.
There are strong themes of familial bonds and discovering one's identity, with a mood that alternates between lighthearted and dark in a way that somehow feels natural and consistent. Nearly every shot of the movie is flat, with a very deliberate, gorgeous mise-en-scène that's often completely symmetrical, and of course, Bill Murray. The first thing that'll stand out to anybody watching this movie, or any of the trailers, is the animation. Like with Fantastic Mr. Fox, Isle of Dogs is mostly rendered in stop motion, inspired by the Rankin Bass holiday specials of the 60s and 70s, but also makes use of some traditional animation, stylistically used to represent photography and video in universe. The animation is excellently done, and honestly, even if you aren't a fan of Anderson's style of storytelling and humor, the movie would still be worth recommending for this reason alone. Unlike with the majority of stop-motion animation, such as features coming from Aardman Animations or Laika, Isle of Dogs contains an abundance of hair and fur, which is notoriously difficult to animate in this style, as it can't be reliably kept still or made to move in a natural way between frames. This makes the movie's animation really stand out among its contemporaries, and coupled with Anderson's distinct shot composition, it really is a treat to behold.
It takes up a lot of people's skill and craft, but that's exactly what I think Wes wants to see, and I think it does give it a life to it that isn't present in some other stop frame animated films.
Isle of Dogs is set in a dystopian alternate future of Japan where the fictional city of Megasaki has outlawed all dogs and banished them to an island of garbage following the outbreak of a viral epidemic that has spread throughout the city's canine population. It follows the exploits of 5 dogs as they try to help a young boy named Atari who has come to Trash Island to find his dog Spots. Taking place in Japan, the human characters mostly speak Japanese without subtitles, though all of the most important bits of Japanese dialogue are creatively translated one way or another, either by in-universe translators, newspaper headlines, or just by having a somewhat obvious meaning in context.
We get the idea.
The film humorously states up front that all barking has been translated into English, and so all dialogue from the dog characters, which is the majority of the film's dialogue, is in English.
You're Rex. You're King. You're Duke. You're Boss. I'm Chief. We're a pack of scary, indestructible alpha dogs.
I found this to be an interesting way to distinguish between the human and animal speech, which I don't recall ever having been done before in a talking animal movie.
Or somebody spoke his language.
The film features an enormous, star-studded ensemble cast headed by Bryan Cranston, and also features the voices of Ed Norton, Jeff Goldblum, Greta Gerwig, Frances McDormand, Scarlett Johansson, Harvey Keitel, Tilda Swinton, Ken Watanabe, Liev Schreiber, Yoko Ono, and of course, Bill Murray. Having such a large cast in a film with such a short runtime, a lot of the characters are fairly one-note, though each of them gets at least one defining personality quirk or running gag. There's no shortage of creative dialogue to go around for the entire cast, and the 3 or 4 most important characters get enough development to drive the narrative on an emotional level, especially Bryan Cranston's and Liev Schreiber's characters, who are easily the standouts.
Why should I?
Because he's a 12-year-old boy. Dogs love those.
We'll find him. Wherever he is, if he's alive, we'll find your dog.
If I had one complaint about the cast, it would be the same complaint that I frequently have about animated movies that have come out in the last 20 years or so, which is that I wish more films would get actual voice actors to play more of these parts. Not only is it already difficult enough for voice actors to get work, but they're also better suited for the job as well, since with voice work, unlike in live-action acting, more personality and emotion needs to be conveyed through speech, as the actor doesn't have facial expressions or gestures to enhance their performance. I will admit, though, that if the liberal use of celebrity voiceovers feels appropriate in any animated feature, it would be in a Wes Anderson film, where most of the dialogue is meant to be not monotone exactly, but definitely very matter-of-fact, if you know what I mean.
Wait a second. Before we attack each other and tear ourselves to shreds like a pack of maniacs, let's just open the sack first and see what's actually in it. It might not even be worth the trouble. A rancid apple core, 2 worm-eaten banana peels, a moldy rice cake, a dried-up pickle, tin of sardine bones, a pile of broken eggshells, an old smushed-up rotten gizzard with maggots all over it.
Okay, it's worth it.
The soundtrack is great as well, drawing heavily from traditional Japanese instruments and musical styles, as well as Japanese films in particular. One of the tracks in the film is even taken directly from Akira Kurosawa's classic film Seventh Samurai. If you're a fan of Wes Anderson, or just of movies in general, I would wholeheartedly recommend watching Isle of Dogs. It's not often a film comes along that can be enjoyed by all audiences, but I really do think this is one of them. I could see anyone from children, teenagers, adults, to seniors finding something to like in this movie. It was the best film I've seen in the theater in quite some time, and it's definitely worth theater price. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. Please leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of Isle of Dogs if you saw it. Also, if you'd like to receive notifications of future releases, you can hit the bell next to the subscribe button. Thanks for watching once again, and take care.